Is this the warmest Christmas in American history? In exactly 72 hours, something extraordinary will happen across the heartland. But first, stay with me because at the 30-second mark, I'll reveal which states could see temperatures hit 80 degrees on Christmas morning. Right now, a massive heat dome is sitting over America like a blanket. Not the cozy kind your grandmother made, the kind that's rewriting weather history. 15 states are about to experience record-breaking warmth. Here's what you need to know in the next 25 minutes, and I promise you, the most critical information comes at minute 5. The numbers are staggering. We're talking 15 to 30 degrees above normal. St. Louis, nearly 70 degrees on Christmas Day. Arkansas, some areas pushing 80. Texas and Oklahoma, also approaching 80 degrees. Think about that, 80 degrees. On the day we celebrate the birth of Christ in Bethlehem, where shepherds watched their flocks by night in the cold. But here's your reward for staying with me. If you're in the Northeast, you're the exception. You might actually get that white Christmas. Providence smiles differently on New England this year. Now, let me ask you something. Have you noticed how creation seems out of rhythm lately? The seasons we've known our whole lives, the patterns we could set our watches by, they're shifting. And this Christmas heat dome is just the beginning of what I need to tell you. Here's what's really happening. The Climate Prediction Center shows above average temperatures through the 6 to 10 day outlook for most of the United States. That giant ridge out west? It's slowly moving east, bringing unprecedented warmth right into the heart of America. But wait, there's a twist nobody's talking about. This warmth is moving over ground that's been frozen solid. You know what happens when warm air hits frozen earth? Dense fog, thick as pea soup, visibility dropping to near zero, just like a blizzard. So you wanted a white Christmas? You might get a gray one instead. The temperature gradient is sharp, brutally sharp. In Minnesota, it'll still be cold, sure. But in the warmth corridor from Texas up through Missouri and into the Ohio Valley, it's going to feel wrong. Not dangerous, just wrong. Like creation itself is holding its breath. Remember, the best part is coming at minute 3 and 20 seconds. Don't skip ahead. Let's talk about travel. Christmas Eve morning. If you're driving to your daughter's house, to your son's family gathering, to that church service you haven't missed in 40 years, listen carefully. Dense fog warnings are likely across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and into the plains. This isn't the kind of fog that burns off by 9 a.m. This is the kind that stays. And here's something most forecasters won't tell you. When you get these extreme temperature differences, the fog can be so thick you can't see your own hood ornament. I've seen it. Highways become parking lots. But you're prepared now, aren't you? Because you're still here, still listening. The West Coast has a completely different problem. While we're complaining about it being too nice in the center of the country, they're about to get hammered. And I mean hammered. Here's why this matters even if you live in Ohio. A major winter storm is brewing for the Sierra Nevada. Not just snow, a blizzard. We're talking about winds gusting 55 to 60 miles per hour over exposed terrain. That creates whiteout conditions. Zero visibility. Donner's Summit, where those pioneers faced their darkest hour back in 1846, that pass will likely close. The snow totals are biblical. Some models show 4 to 6 feet in the highest elevations. 4 to 6 feet, that's taller than most of us. Interstate 80, Highway 50. If you're planning to cross the Sierra on Christmas Eve, you're taking a massive risk. Not a small risk, a massive one. And here's the plot twist. This won't be light, fluffy snow like God's grace falling gently. This is heavy, wet snow. The kind that snaps tree branches like matchsticks. The kind that brings down power lines. Prepare for the possibility of a dark Christmas in the high country. Dark, not just in the spiritual sense, but literally without electricity. Now I'm going to honor my promise. Here at minute 5, let me tell you the most important thing. This heat dome is temporary. Relief is coming. After Christmas, big shots of cold air are headed south. The heat dome will break, winter will return, because that's the thing about creation. It seeks balance. Always has, always will. 2 major cold air masses are lined up like dominoes. The first one arrives the day after Christmas, December 26th. This one might pack a decent punch with heavy snow across the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Models are still figuring out the details, but the signal is strong. Strong enough that I'm telling you now, if you've got travel plans for the 26th, keep watching the forecasts. Here's what you're not hearing anywhere else. This kind of temperature whiplash from 15 to 30 degrees above normal down to potentially 15 to 20 degrees below normal in just 48 hours, this is when accidents happen. When furnaces that haven't been tested suddenly fail. When pipes that were fine in the warmth suddenly freeze and burst. The second cold blast comes around New Year's. This one's got less moisture but way more cold air to work with. We're talking bone-chilling temperatures through the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Northeast, maybe even into the Mid-Atlantic and parts of the Southeast. The kind of cold that makes you remember why your grandparents talked about real winters. But let's get back to Christmas itself, because that's what you're here for, isn't it? For the vast majority of Americans, Christmas 2025 will feel strange. Not bad, necessarily, just strange. You might be opening presents in short sleeves. Your Christmas dinner might be on the back patio instead of around the fire. The kids might be playing football in the yard instead of building snowmen. And you know what? That's okay. The birth of Jesus happened in the Middle East, after all. It was probably warm. The shepherds weren't bundling up in parkas. They were out in the fields with their flocks at night because the weather allowed it. Sometimes we forget that. So here's a different way to think about this unusual Christmas. Maybe instead of fighting against the warmth, we accept it as a reminder. A reminder that faith isn't about perfect conditions. It's not about white Christmases and Currier and Ives scenes. It's about something deeper, something that exists regardless of the temperature outside. Now, back to the facts, because you deserve to know everything. The Pacific Northwest is going to see intense rain and wind on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We're talking about potential flooding, power outages, trees down. If you've got family in Seattle, Portland, anywhere in that region, check on them. Make sure they're prepared. California's valleys will see rain. Heavy rain. The kind that causes flash flooding in areas that have been dry for months. If you're in the Central Valley, if you're anywhere near those burn scar areas from previous fires, flash flooding is a real concern. Real as the nose on your face. Here's a question that should concern every American. Why is this happening? Is it climate change? Is it natural variation? Is it God's plan? Honest answer? Probably all three. The climate is changing. That's measurable fact. Natural variation is always part of the equation. And if you believe God's in control, well, He's in control of all of it. But here's what I know for certain. Whether you think this is man-made or natural or divine, being prepared is always the right response. Being informed is always better than being ignorant. Taking care of your neighbor is always the Christian thing to do. So let me give you a practical checklist. If you're in the warmth zone, the central and southern United States, here's what you need to know. 1. Watch for dense fog Christmas morning, especially if you're traveling. 2. Temperatures could hit 70 degrees or higher. Dress accordingly. 3. This isn't dangerous heat, just unusual heat. Stay hydrated anyway. If you're in the Northeast, different story. 1. You might get snow before Christmas. Light accumulations possible. 2. You're one of the few regions with a shot at a traditional white Christmas. 3. Colder air moves in, but nothing extreme, just seasonal. If you're on the West Coast, especially in the mountains, listen carefully. 1. Do not, I repeat, do not attempt to cross the Sierra Nevada on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day unless absolutely necessary. 2. If you must travel, carry emergency supplies. Food, water, blankets, flashlights. 3. Tell someone your route and expected arrival time. This is life or death serious. Now here's something fascinating, and stay with me because this connects to something bigger. These wild temperature swings we're seeing, they're not just random chaos. They're part of larger patterns. The jet stream is doing things we haven't seen in decades, maybe longer. What's driving this? A combination of factors. El Niño, La Niña, Arctic oscillations, things with names that sound like medical conditions. But they're real, they're measurable, and they affect every single one of us. The jet stream is basically a river of air way up high in the atmosphere. When it buckles and bends in unusual ways, we get unusual weather. That's what's happening now. That ridge out west is forcing the jet stream into this massive northward bulge. That's pulling warm air up from the south, creating our Christmas heat dome. But like I said earlier, creation seeks balance. That jet stream is going to snap back, and when it does, watch out. That's where our post-Christmas cold comes from. It's all connected. Here's what the next 10 days look like in detail. December 24th, Christmas Eve. Warmth continues to build. Dense fog, likely morning hours across Midwest and Ohio Valley. West Coast storm intensifies. December 25th, Christmas Day. Peak warmth in central U.S. with possible record highs. Sierra Nevada blizzard in full force. Northeast stays seasonably cool with possible snow cover. December 26th, first cold front drops south. Potential winter storm for mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Western storm begins to weaken. December 27th through 30th, gradual cool down across eastern two-thirds of country. Scattered snow showers, possible Great Lakes region. West Coast dries out. December 31st and January 1st, major cold blast arrives. Potential New Year's winter storm, Great Lakes and Northeast. Temperatures drop 15 to 25 degrees below normal. Ridge rebuilds out west. Now let me tell you something they don't teach in meteorology school. Weather affects people's moods, their health, their very souls. I've been doing this long enough to know, when the weather gets weird, people feel unsettled. It's not just in their heads, it's real. This Christmas, a lot of folks are going to feel that unsettlement. They're going to look outside, see the thermometer reading 68 degrees, and feel like something's wrong. And you know what? It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to miss the snow. It's okay to wish things were different. But here's what I want you to remember. Christmas isn't about the weather. It never was. It's about a baby born 2,025 years ago in a stable. It's about hope entering a dark world. It's about love defeating fear. It's about God becoming human to show us the way home. And that story, that beautiful, eternal story, is just as true at 70 degrees as it is at 30 degrees, just as real in fog as in snow, just as powerful in warmth as in cold. So here's my advice. From one weather watcher to another, from one American to another, from one believer to another. Embrace this unusual Christmas. Take your family on a walk in the warm evening air. Have that outdoor gathering you never thought you'd have in December. Use this gift of mild weather to connect with people you love. But also be smart. Be prepared. If you're traveling, know the conditions. If you're in the path of that western storm, take it seriously. If you're going to be in the fog belt, leave extra early. Give yourself time. Grace yourself with patience. The meteorological data I'm seeing shows this heat dome is real, it's strong, and it's not budging until the 26th. The European model agrees with the American model. The Canadian model agrees with both. When all the major forecast models align like this, you can bank on it. Temperatures in Dallas on Christmas Day, mid-70s. Oklahoma City, mid-70s. Kansas City, upper 60s. St. Louis, upper 60s to near 70. Memphis, low 70s. Little Rock, mid-70s. Houston, upper 70s. Near 80. Those aren't forecasts pulled from thin air. Those are based on ensemble model data, climatological analysis, and 3 decades of forecasting experience. You can trust those numbers. Plan around them. Now, the fog situation. Let me get specific, because this could affect millions of travelers. The areas most at risk for dense fog Christmas Eve into Christmas morning, central and southern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas. Why these areas? Because that's where the warmest air will be moving over the coldest ground. It's like breathing on a cold window. Condensation forms. In this case, massive amounts of it, creating fog banks that can reduce visibility to 1/4 mile or less. In some spots, near zero. If you're driving through any of these areas early Christmas morning, understand this. Dense fog is just as dangerous as ice and snow. Maybe more so, because people underestimate it. They think, oh, it's just fog. I can handle it. Then they're in it, can't see anything, and it's too late to make good decisions. slow down. Turn on your regular headlights, not high beams. High beams just reflect back and make it worse. Increase your following distance. If it gets too bad, pull completely off the road, turn on your hazards, and wait it out. Better to be late than to be in an accident. Here's a personal story. 3 years ago, Christmas morning, I was driving to my daughter's house. Dense fog rolled in. Couldn't see 10 feet ahead. I pulled over, waited 30 minutes. My family was worried, called several times. But I made it there safe. That's what matters. Your family wants you there safe more than they want you there on time. Remember that. Now, let's talk about what happens after Christmas, because that's when things get really interesting from a weather perspective. That first cold front on the 26th, current models show it dropping south fast. We're talking about a 12 to 24-hour period where temperatures could crash 30 degrees in some locations. That's hard on everything. Hard on your car, hard on your house, hard on your body if you have health conditions. If you've got elderly parents, check on them. Make sure their heat's working. Make sure they've got medications. Make sure they're not isolated. This is where faith meets action, folks. James 2:17 says faith without works is dead. Believing and loving your neighbor means actually checking on your neighbor, especially when the weather gets extreme. The potential winter storm on the 26th is still a bit uncertain. Models have been flip-flopping on the exact track, but there's definitely moisture, definitely cold air, definitely lift. Those three ingredients make snow. The question is where and how much. If you live anywhere from Washington, D.C. up through Boston, keep a close eye on forecasts the next few days. This could be anything from a minor nuisance to a significant travel hazard. We'll know more by Christmas Eve. The New Year's cold blast looks more certain. High pressure building over central Canada, diving south into the U.S. Classic Arctic outbreak pattern. Not record-breaking cold, but cold enough to remind us it's still winter. Which, honestly, a lot of people will welcome after the Christmas warmth. You know what's interesting? In my 30-plus years of weather forecasting, I've noticed something. People complain when it's too hot. They complain when it's too cold. They complain when it's too wet. They complain when it's too dry. We humans are never satisfied with the weather God gives us. Maybe this unusual Christmas is an opportunity to practice gratitude instead of complaint. To say, thank you for this warmth that allows us to be outside. Or, if you're in the Northeast, thank you for this snow that makes Christmas magical. Or, if you're on the West Coast dealing with the storm, thank you for this water that our parched land needs. Gratitude changes everything. Even weather becomes bearable when you approach it with thanksgiving. Speaking of the West Coast storm, let me give you the final details, because this is crucial information. The storm system is massive. It's drawing moisture from way out in the Pacific, something meteorologists call an atmospheric river. Think of it as a fire hose pointed at California. That moisture hits the Sierra Nevada mountains, gets forced upward, cools down, and dumps snow. Lots of snow. The National Weather Service is already talking about blizzard warnings for the higher elevations. Blizzard warnings mean sustained winds of 35 miles per hour or greater, with considerable falling or blowing snow, reducing visibility to less than 1/4 mile for 3 hours or more. This storm meets all those criteria and then some. Winds could gust 60 miles per hour, could gust even higher in the most exposed areas. That's hurricane force wind. With heavy snow, that's a recipe for disaster if you're caught unprepared. Donner Summit. Elevation 7,239 feet. This place has history. Dark history. In the winter of 1846 to 1847, the Donner Party got trapped there by early snow. Of the 87 people in the group, only 48 survived. They resorted to cannibalism to stay alive. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this to illustrate how serious mountain weather can be. This isn't a joke. This isn't being overly cautious. This is respecting the power of nature and the mountain. If you absolutely must cross the Sierra on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, here's what you need. Chains for your tires. Mandatory. Full tank of gas. Emergency kit with food, water, blankets, first aid supplies. Fully charged cell phone. Tell someone your exact route and when you expect to arrive. But honestly, my advice is don't go. Delay your trip. It's not worth it. Whatever or whoever you're trying to get to, they want you alive more than they want you there on time. The rain in the valleys will be heavy too. Flash flood watches will likely be posted for areas with burn scars. When you burn vegetation off a hillside, it can't absorb water anymore. Rain just runs off, causing flash flooding downstream. This has happened repeatedly in California the past few years. If you're in an area that could flood, have an evacuation plan. Know your routes out. Have a go bag ready. Don't wait until water's at your door to start thinking about this. The Pacific Northwest, Washington, and Oregon, they're going to get wind and rain too. Power outages are likely. Trees down. Some areas could get 6 to 8 inches of rain. That's half a year's rainfall in some places, all in 48 hours. If you live in the Pacific Northwest, charge your devices. Fill your bathtub with water in case water service is interrupted. Have flashlights ready. Check your sump pump if you have one. Clear gutters and drains around your property. These are simple things that can make a huge difference when the storm hits. Now, I want to address something I've been seeing on social media. People saying this warm Christmas is a sign of the end times. People saying it's God's judgment. People getting really worked up about the theological implications of unusual weather. Look, I'm a believer. I go to church, I read my Bible, but I also understand meteorology. And here's what I know. Unusual weather has happened throughout all of human history. We have records of warm Christmases going back centuries. We have records of cold Julys. We have records of all kinds of weather extremes. Is the climate changing? Yes. Is human activity contributing? Almost certainly. Does God allow it? Obviously, or it wouldn't be happening. Should we be good stewards of creation? Absolutely. That's a biblical mandate. But should we panic? No. Should we live in fear? No. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. A sound mind looks at the data, makes rational decisions, prepares appropriately, and trusts God with the outcome. That's what I'm trying to help you do today. Let me give you one more practical piece of advice that nobody else is talking about. This temperature whiplash after Christmas, from warm to cold in just a few days, this is when people get sick. Your immune system doesn't like rapid changes. It gets stressed, so here's what you do. Keep up your vitamin C, get enough sleep, wash your hands frequently. If you start feeling run down, rest. Don't push through it. Your body's trying to tell you something. Also, dress in layers. When it's warm, you can remove layers. When the cold hits, you can add them back. Sounds simple, but you'd be amazed how many people don't do this and end up miserable. Okay, we're at about minute 23. Let me bring this home. This Christmas is going to be different. No doubt about it. But different doesn't mean bad. Different doesn't mean wrong. Different is just different. The weather is what it is. We can't change it. We can only respond to it. And our response says a lot about us, about our character, about our faith, about our resilience. I've given you all the information you need to be prepared. Dense fog warnings for the Midwest and Ohio Valley Christmas morning. Record warmth across the central and southern U.S. Possible white Christmas in the Northeast. Major blizzard in the Sierra Nevada. Heavy rain and wind Pacific Northwest. Cold blasts after Christmas. Potential winter storms the 26th and around New Year's. You're armed with knowledge now. Use it wisely. But more than the weather knowledge, I hope I've given you some perspective. Christmas is about hope. It's about light in darkness. It's about God's love for broken humanity. That message doesn't change whether it's 70 degrees or 7 degrees outside. Celebrate with your family. Be grateful for the people around your table. Check on your neighbors, especially elderly or alone. Drive safely if you're traveling. Be patient with the weather, whatever it brings. And remember, in all things, in all weather, in all circumstances, we can give thanks. Here's what to watch for in the next video, and yes, there will be another update. By tomorrow, we'll know more about that December 26th winter storm. We'll have better data on the snow totals for the Sierra. We'll have updated fog forecasts. And we'll start looking ahead to New Year's and what the first week of January might bring. But for now, for this moment, you're prepared. You know what's coming. You know how to respond. You're ready. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Stay safe, stay prepared, And remember, no matter what the thermometer reads, the reason for the season never changes. God bless you, and God bless America.